Hi everyone, welcome to Dave's Bonsai. On today's episode, the three-trunked Zelkova. Let's check it out. Welcome to Bonsai Acres. Welcome everyone into the passive solar green frame on a beautiful day. The sun's trying to peek out through the clouds. We're at 25 degrees Fahrenheit. Another beautiful day in Minnesota, and I just want to clean up a couple of trees. And so the first one up is going to be my triple trunk. Let's take a peek at that and see what little we're going to do to it. I know none of you believe me, but I'm going to try really hard to keep it small. Let's go for it. The three-trunk Zelkova is what I'm going to work on today. Give it a 360 for you. Got a lot of nice comments on this one in the past when I first put it in here. It's growing up nicely. We got some nice movement on these trees. And they're a trio, but they all have something different to offer. One in the middle, of course, is kind of maybe the big brother of the three, big sister. You got this little guy over here growing off to the left. I love that. This one has kind of some fun curves to that trunk. Just really kind of fun. And so let's just go ahead and do some real simple care for this one. So again, in the springtime, it's ready to push out growth where I want it to push out. So look at this branch coming way back over here. Yeah, there's so many buds back in here. We're just cut that, and if it grows back right there again and shoots out a branch more this way, fantastic with the two buds that are down there. This one right here is growing at the camera. This one right here, again, this one's too much at the camera. It's at a weird junction, that whole thick chunk right there. I'm going to cut that right off. There we go. Now that's a cleaner split from there to there. I love this movement right here. That's fantastic. And then we got this one kind of growing up. And this one coming back towards the camera. Let's cut that one off a little bit as well. Let's just cut that one completely off in the bottom. Now this is going to grow fast, kind of like your Chinese elm. This is a Japanese elm, the Zelkova. And now we have these, and they're just too long, right? And look at how clean up that is, looking a little bit better. This one's shooting down a little bit, and there's a nice split back here with a branch going this way. So I think I'm just gonna cut off this dead spot a little bit more, and that branch behind it there. That's cleaner, and now it's a nice path back here. So I like that section right there where it is. Let's come to this guy right over here. This one's growing back over and covering this tree too much. So let's just go ahead and cut this one off and just promote these growing up this way. This one's coming in a really weird direction, as is this one. We'll see what else maybe continues to shoot this way. We got down right here. We got a couple buds back in here. And so all the buds that are in the back there will either continue to grow or we'll have more stuff shooting out. Again, very much like a Chinese elm, these Zelkovas, the Japanese elms, putting out massive growth. They just grow like a weed. And so they'll put out new growth this spring. This is kind of going up back towards the center. Let's cut that off. And there is one in the back here. I'm just going to wait on that one and just see what happens. We'll just leave this branch as it is right now. I'd like that for the ramification down closer to the tree. We'll see. This right here is also coming towards us a little bit too much. We'll cut that off. This one as well is kind of a weird design, and this one just cut a little bit shorter. This one's also coming back at us. Cut that one off, shorter. Cut the tip off there, the tip off there. We've got a decent little left tree there. That one's pretty much done. Because we don't know which one, some of these won't survive. Some of them might not. But they're going to always shoot out a ton more growth because that's what these Zelkovas do. Dead, dry cutting spot, dead, dry cutting spot. We cut those off as well. All right, pruning, old pruning scars. Start to clean up this tree just a little bit. All right, this is coming at us right here. A little one you could probably barely see. We'll cut that off. There we go. That'll grow up just fine next year and be wonderful. And again, this is a little bit in our face. I'd like the split to have been a little bit lower, and there is one back here. Right here there's a split branch right there. We could cut this lower to promote that. I'm just going to leave it for right now. Remember I said I was going to keep this light, everybody. I'm trying to keep my promise. But look at this big branch. That's way in our face. I'm cutting that off. This one's at a weird junction on the inside of a curve. This is going straight down. This is an old pruning scar. There we go. This one as well. That'll heal up and smoothen out. And we got these two branches that are kind of growing this way instead of this way. I'm going to leave them and see which one I like better later. It might be this one, of course, because it's growing out more, and this blocks that tree in the future. This one's coming right straight at my face. I don't like it. This is going way off to the right. Again, these really aren't that important. We're going to probably get new ones coming from here in the future growing season here. So there we go. A couple of weird ones inside here. So that's kind of that branch. There's a big branch way in the back, crossing way back there. We don't want that, even though it's way in the back. And there we go. So that section right there is decent. Nothing really crosses too tremendously bad. Here's one right here where we could, you know, this one is in line with this one, which is in line with this one. So this may come off someday, but I like how it gives it depth this way. We could also cut this one off. So this is the main branch, but I love the ramification there is really nice. Here's an example where if I was going to make a major cut today, I could cut this all off here for this and this branch, but let's see if they even survive the winter, see what else pushes up for growth. This one's coming right at us. This one's coming right at us. This one's kind of down and at us, down and at us. So this one's a little tall. Now this has a lot of mess in here, a couple of things going on in there. I think I'm going to clean up. I'm going to clean this one up right. I don't want this branch here going there to be the new leader. So I'm just going to cut off this mess right there. I'm going to clean up this old cut wound right there. And I have to wait and see what's going to happen there. I'm going to want to promote this, not this, because of this guy here, unless we cut this guy back drastically. This is kind of in the front and blocks the old scar. But what I will do is just cut off this right here. And I'll cut off this right here. This is really close to the other branch. I'm going to cut it off, shorten this one and shorten that one. Shorten that one. This one's going inside towards that mess. I love this curvy branch back there. You can barely see it from the front, but there it is. Right there, and that's a great location for that. We might cut this whole branch off in support of that, or cut this off and let another branch grow right in here where there's maybe some dormant buds down in there. This one's growing really bizarre, on top and over. Yeah, so these can look really straggly, but then they kick back and they grow so much every year, and they'll put off branches where you're not expecting it, so I'll probably have lots of growth on this guy, and I can make a lot of decisions later on. Two branches here growing in the same spot. We don't want that. And they probably won't even keep that long term. Lots of little straggly ones in here that probably aren't even viable, to be honest, but they'll grow new buds in those same locations probably in the spring. And we'll fertilize this guy pretty heavy too. I want him to really grow robustly this year. Okay. It's one of those great little trees where we can do this in under 10 minutes and we can call it good. So there's the triple trunk tree all cleaned up. All those obnoxious branches growing at me are gone. We'll see how it shoots up new growth. We have a little concern of this tree being a little bit big right here. You can see kind of a little bulge right there where a branch was cut off. I'm going to go ahead and cut that and hope that heals up nice in the spring. Make that a little bit less of a reverse taper. Here's another bump right there. That one's healing over so nice right there. I'll leave it alone. And so we got to be careful that this tree doesn't just take off with girth up here on this section right there. So we could slow it down in the future if we need to. These are super close right here. We'll keep them separated all the way up if we can. So again, we may take this guy off here and bend this one more back this way. But let's 360 it for you one more time after our just cuts right now. We've got the front of the triple trunk Zelkova. You can see how thin it is right now because I kind of planted them more in a string of a line there, but there is still some movement. And this is the back of the tree. Doesn't look too bad as the front either at the moment. And then there you go. There's the left side for you and coming back around to the front. So there is a triple trunk Zelkova all signed, sealed, and delivered on this beautiful winter day. I'm having way too much fun. This is like Christmas morning for me working on trees, so we're going to work on yet another one. I have a couple of Zelkova forests that are done, of course, for the season, and the triple trunk was fun and easy, and this one should be about the same. It's a forest. You can see not all the leaves have quite fallen off of this one yet, but close. And so I can go ahead and shake this off, get a little bit of those leaves into the trash so we don't have any fungal issues. We don't want too much moisture hanging around some of those leaves, so we can make sure we're always cleaning that out too. So We have the Zelkova forest here, one of two we'll work on today. This one, all the trees are alive and accounted for. We're getting some thick girth on some of these. A couple of them, the main tree right here and here, are getting some nice girth. We have a nice dead point right here we can cut off. We might even cut this branch or tree lower, but let's just cut off some of that old knobbiness from the former cut. This one as well. Just cut some of that off now. There we go. Cleaning up the forest. Let's see what we can do. This tree looks totally fine the way it is. I'm just going to cut it shorter right there. I'm not going to worry about anything else except for maybe this one is growing backwards. There we go. Simple cleanup, just shorter, and everything's going to grow next year. We don't know where it's going to push out new growth. These trees can grow like a weed, as I mentioned before. This branch is super long now, right? And it's made a nice thick tree down here. Let's go ahead and cut this right down to the growth behind it. Boom, big cut right there to this branch right here. So now we have taper, even in the forest with these long, tall trees. We have taper from thick to thinner and even to thinnest up here. So we can leave all these branches on here now to see where that one goes. Then we have this guy right here. We can also make a little shorter. Let's just cut it down to here. We're going to see what that one does. These two front ones are skinny and small. Let's actually go a little bit shorter on that guy right there. We'll see what pushes up on him. This has got some fun curly movement on this one, which of course kind of hides this other part of the tree. A couple of Y trees right next to each other here. So it must be a pattern with these trees. Huh? Look at that Y and Y. It's the Y forest. We'll cut this tip off right there just to make it a little bit shorter. And that back branch. And we'll see how these shoot up growth this year and how we want to shorten this guy up. Back here, these are kind of competing with each other. I'm not sure what to do with all this guy right now except for just to see what grows in the springtime. My thing right now is, do I want to shorten it and how much? This is a really big, huge curve over to the right, kind of like this branch. That's a little bit much. Here is a smaller version right here of this big branch. You know, I know for sure I can cut it right here because it's just getting a little tall. And then we're going to have to see what happens next year. This is a fun curly branch right here. Got an interesting little section right here. So I don't know which one I want to keep, that back thick one or we go smaller. I think we go smaller. Let's come in here and cut it off. Scars in the back, you can't even see it. And now this is the tip apex of this tree, which means we will cut this shorter here and shut this down right there. We'll actually go back to here and see what grows on this guy. So now this first part of the forest is relatively cleaned up here. We've got this big section right here with all these 4 trees right out in front. I'm going to spin around to this back tree. Not a whole lot to do there. Lost all its leaves. It looks fine and dandy. We got a double right here. Let's just cut this clean. We're going to see what grows in the spring. Just not even, maybe a low branch right here. I just don't even have to worry about that tree. This one has a couple of funky growth to it. This is going backwards. This is just tall. Let's just cut it shorter. Now this is a double tree in here, folks. Look at that. Now it's double from the ground, twin trunk, but let's cut all these branches on the inside because they'd be having a tough time getting light in there. So we can cut that off, and let's go ahead and lean this tree more to the outside. Let's use the concave cutter. Let's get a cleaner cut on that. Cut that off. Then we kind of have that outside one a little bit smaller. This could take over, but it's a little bit horizontal. See how it's growing up there now, right there? That's pretty nice, and we'll just cut that shorter. And again, the spring growth will determine a lot of what we do next with this tree. And these grow, I can prune these 3-4 times a year, so it's gonna be an absolute weed, and then we'll make some of those decisions. And this one just has some nice fun little movement up top. We'll just leave it alone. So for what I came in here today, this was kind of the scraggly look, and now look, we just kind of cleaned it up a little bit. And if I miss a couple, doesn't matter. We'll just go back in the spring when we see where things are going to grow, and we'll just you know, catch up on other pruning that I missed. This one is too close, 2 of them close together. Let's cut that off. An old wound right there. Cut that off. There we go. So we'll see where the growth is in the spring. Now we have this backside. So this is kind of the big main tree over here. We got this one up here. Let's just cut it off one more time right there. We got this growth right up here. We'll cut this one back a little bit here and here. Look at this guy coming right out at us. This one's super big and thick. Just shorten these all up. And you almost have a done tree just like that. These now branches down lower, I just don't think I'm going to need some of those lower ones. Those are just going to grow every year anyway. We keep this looking more like a forest where the branches don't start for a few feet up in the air. So we do cut off a lot of these bottom ones for that purpose. We don't want branches down that low on most of these trees. I'll leave that one for the moment. I like where it's at. This one also here is a little inside. This one's growing long towards the outside, so those look pretty good together. This is a real fun little tree. I like that branch in the background though, so let's cut this front one up here. That's really a nice one. And then we got this growing nice back behind here. Just shorten some things up here. And there we have it. Just tidying up the forest a little bit. And this is going to take off and do massive growth again because they do put on massive growth. Zelkova forest, numero uno. A lot of branches to choose from on this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, all from the same spot. Let's get rid of this tall one growing in the back. Now there's just 2 right there. I'm actually going to see from the front if I want. Let's leave that one right there for now. And this one can come off shorter here. Let's just leave that for now. This one's kind of coming at me. Let's just leave those for the moment. Okay, Zelkova forest number 1, a quick little update and quick prune. Let's do forest number 2. Here is forest number 2 for today. I think these guys bit the dust, but I cut them back in the hopes that the roots were still viable and we get some more growth down here. We'll see. I might have to take these trees out and we'll add some new ones in the future, but we have forest number 2. Let's see what we got. We got the nice rock structures in here. I love this rock structure right here. Got a lot of character, got a little red color to it, really nice. Let's cut this off right here because it's growing towards this other one. So we got this small tree growing next to the bigger one right back here. And this is kind of one of those Y ones. It's growing sporadically back here. Let's just cut it shorter. And I don't mind where it's at the moment. Just gonna cut it shorter. This is really wild and crazy. I think this tree is struggling to find its true final product. Let's go like that though. And cut this big chunky tip off. Keep that nice and clean. And then we'll go ahead and shorten up this guy. And we've got buds all the way down there that can start shooting back up. And this one's coming at us a little bit and to the right. So we just cleaned up this little forest back here a little bit. We'll cut this one off and this one shorter. Okay. These two are good. This one is just tall and kind of an odd shaped. These branches growing at us and tall and odd and weird. Gonna see where this is gonna put out some growth in the spring. There's buds all the way back to the tip. There are 1, 2, 3 sets of buds in there. Here's an old growth right there that didn't make it. So I'm just gonna leave this the way it is for now. Let's see what happens in the spring. This one I'm gonna cut down shorter, shorter and shorter. This is curving back at us, so we don't really want that. Going downhill, we don't want that. There we go. These are long and going into the other trees. Shorter, shorter, shorter. Those are some of the easy ones to make right off the bat. It's a nice branch right here, but it's kind of coming at us. Let's cut it down shorter. Save this in here. Here's the old cut point back in there. Some nice division in here. Getting to be a nice tree. This lower branches we'll just cut shorter, and this is really too low down here, but I put some girth on the tree. I think I'll leave that one for now. Let's leave that one for now, but it covers up this back one. Let's just do this back there and cut it there. There we go. I like this one. I like the movement on this branch. It's coming up towards this little gap in here over this rock. I like that. We can keep that. We can keep this one off here to see the back tree a little bit better. And there we go. You know, this is the kind of the tall, big tree here. I can cut this one even shorter to promote that a little bit more. This one is a little bit big for these back here, but these just have to catch up a little bit. But sometimes I like the big trees to be in the front too, because, you know, forests don't grow perfectly in every situation as far as, you know, this perfect conical shape all the time. There's always some oddballs in there when you take walks in nature. There we go. This is so fun. This is like Christmas morning. Let's give that forest a spin for you. Another awesome time pruning up some trees, getting them ready for springtime. A couple of Zelkovas today, the 2 forests and the 3 trunk. Thanks for hanging out with me. Christmas is approaching. I was able to get a couple of episodes in here before, again, that madness starts. Thanks for hanging with me, and we're going to catch you very soon after this holiday madness on more videos for sure. And a trip up to Bonsai Acres with Toby is only a few days away, so stay tuned for the updates on what it looks like up there with a little fresh coat of snow. I just hope the rain doesn't melt at all before we get there. Hey, take care of you, take care of your bonsai, and we'll catch you on the next one. Welcome to Bonsai Acres.